Good morning, traders. I'm looking at a potential reversal here. We opened, traded down, filled half of the gap in the first 30 minutes, and that's good for bullish. Waiting, trading micros. I've been struggling. If I trade a big contract, it makes me nervous. I want to move my stop right away, so I'm just gonna trade the micros and hope for the best here. Um, what I'd like to see, this is our lowest low. We did not take out that 4 hour low, but we opened with a pretty nice gap up, which is good for bullish. We filled it to half the gap and rejected, which is good for bullish. What we need to see now is this would be our breaker here. You could even make that one the breaker. This is the pre-market low is this green line, and pre-market high is that green line. I guess I could label those things. I was thinking all the way to settlement would be really nice trade to the upside. I am more bullish than I am bearish. Once this first 30 minutes goes by, if we get a trade opportunity, this is the first 15 minutes, I will take that. If we get a signal to go long here, I will take that. But I usually like to wait for the first 30 minutes to come and go. So far, we've got some of the elements. I like that we filled half the gap. I would like to take that 4 hour low, but that's okay if we don't. What we need now is an expansion above this area with a fair value gap. We've only had one candle body, this one here, closed above it. So now, yeah, we're just missing that fair value gap. And the reason I have this one over here is because this is where I'll be entering the trade. It'll be over here on this side. But just got to be really patient here. I've been struggling with patience and impulse trades, just jumping in and see what happens, and if I'm ever going to be consistently profitable, that's got to stop. So I do need to check my audio here. Let's see. It's not showing I'm live on that. Let's update it. There we go. All right, so yes, my audio is working. I think I have my computer positioned where the mic can pick up my voice a little better. That's weird, it's doing that deal there. Okay, there we go. Well, now we just wait. Yesterday, I had the hypo that we would trade down to around. I'm going to get rid of this, or maybe just mute the tab. There we go. All right. I'm hearing my voice back, and I don't want to do that. But I had the hypo that we would trade down to the 50% of the fair value gap. I mean, 50% of last week, and also the fair value gap high right here on the 4-hour chart. The high of it was right here, and that's the center. We did leave the lower portion open, and we did take out that cluster of 4-hour lows. And I just had to be really, really patient yesterday because it was so choppy, and we didn't get our trade till here, and it was already very late in the day. It was after 2 o'clock, I think, almost 2, before I entered that trade. And it turned out to be a real good trade. I am just trading micros, and I was in the hole a little bit because I had taken a couple of trades thinking we were going to bounce off of here, and then I think I took another one when we took this low, or maybe when we touched there. I got smoked a couple of times, but the trade I ended up taking on it, I did okay on. But with all of that volatility, I wasn't really wanting to hold it very long. And to end the day up 400 after being down 800, I figured that was good. And I just killed it, locked my account. What I typically do is I'll get in on a trade, and I'll have this dollar amount in my head that I want to make. And so I'll get in on the trade, and then if the trade stalls out, maybe I take the trade off, or I'm trailing my stop and it hits my stop. I want to, maybe I've made $200, $300, $400 on that trade, and I immediately want to get back in to make more. And I'll do that, and I'll lose the 400 I just made, maybe even more. So my goal this week is to take that one trade. Like if this reversal pattern does materialize, I'll take this one trade, and then that's it. I may take another one in the afternoon if we get a reversal signal, but this is the only trade that I can take. If I only get $20 from it, that's it. I'm done. So that's my strategy this week, is to try to just limit myself. Don't try to jump back into the move and to make more money and all that. Just be happy with whatever it is I got. And that's a training thing for me, because I've conditioned myself to jump back in and lose the profit that I just made. All right, we're trying to make a new low here. Didn't quite make it. I like that higher low situation. So now if we were to validate this breaker, it would have more credit. We tried to push down again and didn't do it yet. I mean, we push all the way down there. Why didn't we take that low if we were bearish? If we get a fair value gap to the upside here, this is, to me, looks like it could be a really nice opportunity. Yesterday we left several highs up here. We just left them by a tick or two. I think this one was one of them where we were almost to that 4-hour high, and we just left it just barely by a tick or two. Okay, I'm liking this. I've got to be patient because we've got a lot of upside. There's no need in getting in at the ground floor here. We can let it validate this breaker really nicely. But that's a pretty good swing. That's a 20-point swing right there. And it is creating, I want to see a fair value gap form above the breaker. So I do like that. And we got this high, and we just hit it and pull back again and stay in this range, or we may expand. Just be real patient here. It's like a 2 to 3 minute wait. It seems like forever. but it really can mean the difference between profit and non-profit if you just give it that extra couple of minutes, see how it pans out here. But I am really liking the PD array here. This fair value gap, because it formed still within the breaker, I mean, does it have any credibility at all? Probably a little, but not that much. We need to see one above this area to show that we're leaving this area. All right, so there's 1 second left. Okay, there that candle goes. So this fair value gap is still remaining strong. We could wick down into this and then continue up, but once again, I would like to see it a fair value gap. Because right now, all we've done is taken out that high, and we've been in a really tight range. And there's a high here. We may take it out and pull down. I want to see a bust up into the 30s and an unwillingness to come back down into the 20s. Right. I do like that fair value gap remained open, but it is still within the range. So you know, it's nice, but it's not the signal. But it is definitely looking like we're going to roll over and offer to the top side here in a little bit. We got 4 minutes remaining in the opening range. Right now, I'm going to change these. I mean, pre-market high may be a target, but I think we have higher fruit. So I'm going to go ahead and change them now. And we'll just put them as the opening range high and low. I'll just put opening range. They're so close together, I don't think I need to label them. All right, so we definitely have candle bodies closing above the breaker here. You know, trading micros, I am tempted to go ahead and jump into this position because my stop would be plenty big to cover it. But I may have last week been, oh yeah, let's get in. But I'm trying to be very, very strict on myself because I definitely have the tendency to click too many times. The low of this breaker is here. So in order for this to be a valid push up, we wouldn't want to see any candle bodies closing below that. The wicks can go down. The wicks could go all the way down and take out that 4-hour low. Of course, then we would have a new breaker. But the candle bodies need to remain above it. All right, there's 50% of the gap to the tick, pretty much. If this ends up being a bearish move, I won't be getting into it until it goes wherever it goes. You know, if it goes down to those 3 wicks on the 4-hour chart at the 600 level, show you where I'm talking about here. In the I need to put extended back on. Yeah, looks like we're pushing lower. These 3 wicks right here, not that one. These 1, 2, 3. This to me is big money, putting a giant order in there, and the market comes down and fills it. And we've dipped into that pool 3 times. So those 3 wicks to me mean something. I don't know if we'll trade down that far. This one pushed all the way through the fair value gap right there. I don't know if we'll trade down that far, but you know, the possibility is there that we could fill this fair value gap, or we could even come back down here where big money was wanting to buy. Only time will tell. Now it looks like we made a new low. Let's see here. Yeah, we took out this 4-hour low right there. And so that makes us have a new breaker, and it's up here. I like that we took out that 4-hour low, because I prefer to trade when we've taken out a 4-hour low. We've still left a portion of the gap open. I haven't made it all the way to settlement. If we filled the gap entirely and then put up a reversal signal, that would be even better. We have about 1 minute to fill that gap on the gap fill. No, we're already done. Gap fill rules is that we would fill the gap in the first 30 minutes of trading. And we did not do that. We filled most of it. We left about 25% open. So that's also lending to more upside. Now, is this the 10 o'clock candle? So this is a 959. So this will be our opening range low right there. Now, if you're very aggressive, you can use this one as a potential breaker, because it ran liquidity somewhere. It ran this 4-hour low, and then it finished green. There was some sort of a number, but it was a manila folder, so I didn't really give it any credit. Like consumer something month over month. Let's see, there it is. Today's Tuesday. We are having the Fed minutes come out. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow is the Fed FOMC meeting minutes. So today we had that come out. That could be making the market jump around a little bit. It's in Canada. We don't really have any news, so the market should just be doing what it does today. So we made that 4-hour low. If you identified this one as the breaker, which I have seen when it finishes green like that, when it pokes down and then right back up, as long as we're not making a new low and we validate this with a fair value gap, I may go ahead and take that trade. but it's not really necessary to get in at the very, very bottom. I mean, sometimes it is because we can come back and touch the breaker. We'll put that as a possible hypo, and then we'll also look at this one. But this one here is a large breaker, and so is this one. See how many points that is. $25 points. Okay. So if we use this one as the breaker, it's not going to show a shift in market structure. But if it is what the algorithm is referring to, it could come back down and touch it and then go. And since it's at round number, that's even a higher probability. So if we can expand away with the fair value gap, maybe get up into this thing here and then come back to round number and then go, that might be an entry. But ideally, I would like to see it start getting up above here before I'm willing to enter. I usually have my YouTube channel over on the side so I can monitor the chat. I see there's one person in here. All right. I like it. I like it. So now we've made a new low. This one would definitely be the breaker, potential breaker right there. I feel like this area is possibly where people with piles of cash may want to enter, just because it's the 50% retrace of last week's weekly candle. But it may not go all the way back down there. It may not even go all the way to settlement. It may go all the way to the ground. But I'm just thinking we typically, when we take an all-time high, if we look at the daily candles here, and I'm just going to hide these lines for a minute. Okay. So here's an all-time high. Here's an all-time high. This one would have been an all-time high, that one, and that one. But typically when we take them, we don't just fall straight out of bed. We take them, like here, we took this one. We went higher, 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 and then out of bed. And then when we took that one, we came back a little bit, and then we went higher, higher, higher for several days, chopped around, and then we got the news about the tariffs and fell out of bed. So I don't expect that we're going to take this all-time high and then fall out of bed. I would expect it to keep ratcheting up for a few days first. So that's why I'm still bullish on the overall. But a pullback to this level, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I mean, if we look back, this was an all-time high here. How far did we pull back there after we took it? Nine hundred and 62 points we pulled back. Okay. And then this is the all-time high. We took it, surpassed it. This was the one I was originally doing. This is a 25% mark. Then, then we started chopping around. So I think that one, that's 900 point retrace before continuing up. So we could trade all the way down into this. Ambiguity. And the only thing we can rely on is our trading system, which is we keep on following this thing down as we're making lower lows. We're moving our breaker, potential breaker, a little further south, until we get a shift in market structure, and then we can go to work. I think at this point, the Fibonacci for measuring tool for the opening range, we can go ahead and get rid of it because we've filled 90% of it. That's our low of the day right there. I'm going to hand y'all my mouse, and y'all can enter my trade for me because I got to step away a minute. But if it goes above that purple line with the fair value gap, y'all make sure and enter for me. Looks like we're getting a little push to the other side here. We didn't make a new low, so the current breaker is valid. Now that breaker top is at round number, so revisiting round number. Happens all the time, and then it drops back down to 80. Don't get overzealous here. Let's wait for a good, clean reversal pattern, and then we'll take the trade if it develops. Once again, we do have our lowest candle being a green candle. So if you're very aggressive, you could use that as your breaker, but I prefer the shift in market structure. We would need to start trading above this. From a 15-minute candle perspective, we've left the opening range, and now we would need, if we get this candle to close back inside the range, there is a possibility that we would trade through the entire opening range, which isn't very big in NASDAQ standards. Let's see how big that is. 63 points. And we could rip through that in one lousy candle. I mean, this candle right here, that 15-minute candle is nearly the entire opening range. So yeah, we could really do some work on that one. But right now, so far, this is the opening range right here, isn't it? Yeah. So I've got this line wrong. There we go. First 30 minutes is what I mark out as my opening range. And we're comfortably inside the center of that, trying to get to that. We have taken out a 4-hour low. This one right here got taken out. And this one just formed. This candle just started. So this one is the one that pushed through it. So a reversal pattern here would be real sweet, and it would be following my rules of being a reversal trader, and I only take trades at higher time frame highs and lows. If we don't get a reversal pattern here, our next low is all the way down here. So I'm going to go ahead and clone that and mark it out just in case we decide to trade down here. These 50% levels, this was 50% of last week's candle. This is kind of interesting because I see this a lot too, and I notice ICT. He's the one that I got this, instead of using Fibonacci numbers, using the quadrants. If you look at this, they would call this a premium wick. If you're going to go long, a premium wick would be, you would want to buy around the 50% of that wick, and you can see that candle poked right down into the 50%, and then we pulled back immediately. I actually took a long off of that during Asia last night. I'd taken, I want to say I took a couple of longs, and I got in the hole, like $300. And then I took this one, and as soon as I got back to even, I just killed it because I hate Asia session. I don't know why I even bothered clicking a mouse, but my hypo was that we would open a little higher and then just keep on going up. And so, because we'd already offered down here. And so when I saw that, I went ahead and got long there. But I'd gotten long at the open, and then it came down. It looked like it was going to put up a reversal, and I got long again. And I lost both of those trades. It was kind of interesting. It was like the market knew when I was clicking, and it reversed on a dime each time I did. I was long and it was going down. I can show you what it did um, at Asia Open. Let's see. Yeah, right here. So we opened with a little bit of a gap up, I believe. That's 415. Yeah. So this 6 p.m. we opened, we pushed up, and I ended up getting involved somewhere around here, and it was going in my favor, and then it started going down, and it was like, wow, this thing has no bottom. It's just going to rip down. That's pretty fast movement for Asia. And so somewhere around here, once we took those lows and started continuing down, I was like, oh, I guess I'll go short. And I went short, probably bottom tick, and it went right back up. Um, but then I did get involved once we validated this breaker. I was still in the short, and I was like, well, we just validated that breaker. So I did go ahead and get involved in a long there, and it just got me even. That's all it did. But yeah, that was that 4 hour where it touched to the 50% mark on that wick. That's pretty interesting to me. When you see things like that, it just tells you that the algorithm is controlling the price. When you see things go up and they don't quite take the highs, and they don't quite take the lows, everything seems to be at a random level, that's manual manipulation. You see that a lot during rollover week and the week following rollover week. And that's very difficult times to trade. A lot of traders just take vacation during rollover week. And after seeing how the market moved during that week this last time and comparing that movement to the way it moved in March, and I remember when we rolled over to the December contract, which would have been probably October, in the middle of September, October, that I remember I was still learning all of this whole system at that time. And I remember on a live stream sending ICT a message like, why is the market going down and getting within a couple of ticks of the lows and then not taking them? It just doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't we take that liquidity? Because it would get down there within a tick or two and then just absolutely rip higher. Or it would go up to the highs and get within a tick or two and absolutely rip lower. We're talking like a 100-point rip lower with no opportunity of being a 1 minute candle. And that was last September, maybe even September a year ago. And I was, now that I've been doing this long enough that I can look back and see, okay, well, that's a tendency during rollover. All right, so we're at the 58 level. That's settlement. That would be a complete gap fill. And we have a new breaker, new potential breaker right here. So far, this market has wanted to do nothing but offer lower. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I need to also take off my dinger saying that we're at settlement. I put in that deal earlier. And yeah, I didn't know if I was going to be sitting here when it happened. But yeah, we've taken settlement. see if we can get another. So far, just a directional day to the downside. When I was doing my back testing a while back, or a couple of weeks ago, I noticed, like if we go back to regular trading hours here, the initial push down, regardless of which direction it goes, you would say, okay, well, that was our run on liquidity. And then you would mark out the breaker for that run on liquidity. So we initially push down. This would be our breaker. Because that our lowest low was that green one. If this breaker fails to validate and we leave the area with a fair value gap, you can usually go short for about a 70-point run. Now let's see if we did that. So we'd have to get below the breaker, and there's a tiny little fair value gap right there, an entry there. So have we moved 70 points? It doesn't look like we have. So our entry would be right here. And we're at 49, we're at 50 points to that wick. Now that wasn't 100% that we always move 70 points, but that was just the average that I saw. So if we were to move 70 points, let's move, it'd just be an additional 20. So our entry would be here. And 70 points average right there. 22,828. 22,828, does it correspond with any particular numbers? 808 is halfway point of that wick. 828 is 25% of this fair value gap, I believe. I need to get rid of this. All right. So 828, 828. Yeah, that's a possibility that we could get down that far. I wouldn't mind seeing it take out these lows right here. Thinking reversal, just simply because the London session ran from 3 o'clock New York, so right about here. Let's do a line there. There, and then to just before the New York Open, which is right about there. Yeah. So this is today, right? Yeah. So we go up, we make that 4-hour high right there, and then we just came back down. So it ranged basically. London went down a little, went up a little, and then came back down, took out the low. So it pretty much ranged, and then free market pretty much ranged the whole time, and kind of stayed within the confines of the London session. And now we're pushing down. So now, wow, look at this. We've taken settlement. We've pushed through the breaker here very nicely. Pushing back into the bottom of the opening range. This breaker here needs to go away. I'm liking this. If we can get candle bodies closing above the breaker, remember here's round number, so going to round number and pulling back is very, very common. Don't get overzealous here. Man, is it going to give me an opportunity to enter? That's the question. I mean, this is a really nice run up. It almost looks like a trick. Was there some sort of news come out here? Iran's foreign minister remains interested in diplomacy, but we have good reason to have doubts about it. That was at 9:32 Central. All right, so we have candle bodies closing above. We have a fair value gap above. If I could enter right here and around the 92 level, I would like that. I'll go ahead and put an order in there, or even a round number. I would even do round number. So right about there. And I'm going to try 4. No, I'll do 5. Oh, let's see what my risk parameter is. It's $100. No, I'll do 200 on my risk parameter. I may not get an opportunity to enter here. We'll see how it goes. Man, it is really getting after it. See, so far, the fair value gaps, my entries would be a tick above the bottom of these candles. And so far, we haven't even had an opportunity to enter on any of this run, not a single time. So could you jump in and grab a few points? Probably. But when I do that, I get smoked. I click in the exact spot the market decides it wants to reverse. So I would like to see it leave this high by just a tick or two and come back down and fill me. You certainly wouldn't want to buy above the halfway point of the opening range. If you're short-minded, this would be a good place to sell. If you take the entirety of this run here and you want to go long, you want to buy below this yellow line. That's at 902. Because right up here, they're trying to find willing buyers. It will pull back at some point, possibly all the way to the breaker. Top of the breaker is at 87. I'm going to try to enter. I'm going to try to enter right around the round number here. I could try there. That's at 906. Give me 25 points. If I enter at 906, let's see. 25 points. So my stop loss would be about that 82. 82 is right in the middle of the breaker. might just miss this entire run. But that is a pretty nice run. I mean, it looks bigger than it is because I've got it zoomed in. But, you know, getting close to 80 points there. Maybe right here was my entry. Rarely does it just keep running without a pullback. I mean, this is not common. We'll get a pullback at some point. May not pull back all the way to my entry, but maybe I should just put it right there at that halfway point. We're already about to take the opening range high. We open right. Right there is the open. Open right there. We're at it. Open there and pull back. And this is a really nice run. We have a lot of liquidity up above. So don't freak out thinking you're missing something if you're not in on this run. I mean, we're well below the bottom of this range. If you look at let's look at that 4-hour chart. And let's go up here to the all-time highs. I'm going to get rid of these guys. I'm just going to hide them all for a minute and measure from here down to here. So that's the entirety of that pullback. We're just below the halfway point of that pullback. Is this? Yeah. We're just below the halfway point. And so the entire pullback is 325 points. So we have over 150 points to get back to the top. And all of these little points here, there's room. Don't freak out. There's room. If you don't get in on this one, you'll get in on another one. But I do like this run. When it's all green like that, to me, it looks like a liquidity run. And a reasonable pullback would be the one red candle and a sea of green in this situation. So pulling back to here would be really nice. Pulling back to the breaker would be even better. But this level right here would be pretty good too. So I'm thinking if we can pull back the round number here, we'll be golden. Sometimes it's good to mark out these fair value gaps. Oh man, I put all my stuff back on. What do I even have this one on here for? Oh, that's the entirety of the range. So we would want to buy about 902, below 902 depth, preferably. So you start marking these out, and if the candle bodies start respecting the center point, like it touches it and then immediately pulls away from it, that could be your entry. Right now we've traded through this one, so that one's not the one the algorithm is referring to. Let's see how it does on the next one. And the next one. So this one here we can get rid of. It's already toast. This one has potential. Wick into that halfway point, but we still would be above the 50% of this entire run. Ideally, I would like to see it wick into this one. Maybe wick through the bottom. Candle bodies respect the center. Up we go. I'm going to pull this way down here so it doesn't accidentally get filled on a rush. Once we start respecting the candle bodies, one of these fair value gaps, and I'll move it up and try to enter. I do like that. This could be the one. Let's let this candle finish. I'd really like to see it go back to round number for the breaker. If we start pushing higher from here, I'll probably jump in. Right now we have this one to the downside and this potential breaker. Let's mark it. And we'll make it the other colors because it's bearish. It works both ways. If the candle bodies start violating this one, more upside. Let's do a measuring tool on this opening range. Half the opening range would be right there. There we go. See right there, that's why I didn't want my order way over there. All right, look at that touch. Look at that touch. Okay, I'm going to get in as soon as I can there. And see the touch on the breaker right there? I may get smoked on this, but that touch is exactly what I look for. And so now we'd be aiming for at least this. Lower hanging fruit would be opening range high. I'm going to buy 2 more at 9. There we go. Now this will be a good place for a premium wick situation. So this fair value gap, we want to see those bodies respected. I'm already in, so it doesn't matter now. But had I not entered there, the touch of that breaker is is what got me in this trade. That is algorithmic. That's a scary red candle to buy on, but that's algorithmic. Now we should see all these get violated and then start expanding outside the opening range. We're below the middle of the opening range still, so this is buying territory. We may consolidate here. Don't get scared. Don't move your stop yet. I'm thinking all-time highs, but I'm thinking 23,000 is a good psychological level. And we left a few days ago, we left this by just a tick. So I like that level. That's where I'm going to try for. If that one respects this, I'm going to add 2 more. There we go. I'm okay with it taking that low right here because that's our round number. I don't want it to offer back to the bottom of the opening range. I'll let this candle finish. I want to see it expand up from this area. Before I add any more. I'm looking at our fair value gap. Candle bodies have gone all the way to the bottom of it, but they still haven't completely pierced it. This may be the one it wants to refer to. We're just in the waiting game, in a holding pattern now. Okay, I like that. I want to see it take that wick and then expand above. Maybe take one of these and then continue expanding above. And then I might add 2 more. So we took that wick and we pulled back. Not what I want to see. So far, we're respecting that fair value gap. This may be our, I think I can get a better entry. So I'm going to go ahead and close it. Oh, come on. get out of that. Okay, so this one's toast. Now we're trading down into this one. About to violate the breaker completely. The other breaker would be this one here. So far, it's looking real rangy, isn't it? We respected that thing beautifully. If I was in short-minded, man, I would have been selling there. Made a new low. Left the opening range to the downside. New potential breaker is all the way up here for upside. We do have this fair value gap down here that has not been filled. So we could be offering to there. I just don't know about taking a short right now. Although that's what it looks like we should do. We went to the high of the opening range. We left it. We were leaving highs again. We didn't take that one. Offered all the way back down to settlement. Finished the run with a green candle. We didn't take a 4-hour high, so shorts aren't in play. We did take a 4-hour low, so longs are in play. Regular trading hours, we were consolidated here yesterday, big time. Taking these lows, we would be below the 50% level of week. This is where big money would want to buy for more upside. And the algorithm, most of the business is conducted during regular trading hours. So the algorithm does refer more to New York session than overnight. Overnight isn't completely insignificant, but regular trading hours where most of the volume is conducted holds more weight. So here we've left this low. This low is at 840, and it's also a green wick bottom. 84075. This low 41. So we left it by 25 cents. But we did dip below the 25% the 50% level of last week, which is a buy. Whew. So we need to be looking. We got a new breaker right here. New potential breaker. Curious how big that move was. I don't think it was more than 100 points. 93 to the upside. So about 90, 95 to 100 back to the downside. All right, so we're pushing back into 80. We do have fair value gaps, validating the breaker. We'll let this candle finish. I hope I don't miss another monumental run to the upside like we just had. Opening range low. I'm going to go ahead and try to get in here if I've got to wait for another 44 seconds before this candle finishes and this to see if this fair value gap actually remains open. So we can hit that opening range low and just continue down. But I do like that we've had a fairly immediate rebalance on that push. Two seconds. All right. Okay, I'm going to try another entry right here. Now I'll just buy, I'll buy 5 right there. Okay. We got filled. Now my stop is right at the top of the breaker. We could revisit that sucker. I could lose this one too. But I'm hoping this fair value gap remains open. Let's go ahead and mark it out. Yeah, looks pretty. I hope it's as aggressive up as it was the last time it went up. We are at round number though, so it could hit it, pull straight back. I could lose this one too. I am going to go for 23,000 again. Although, you know, I'm getting sleepy. London was rangy. We could just go to the top of the opening range, pull up straight back down. Lower hanging fruit may be the better objective here. Or maybe take off some of them here. Just so, because I am in the hole after that last trade by $208. So maybe locking in a little bit of profit at the opening range high if we get there would be a good idea. We could hit this wick and fall out of bed. And that would make me even on the day. I'm fairly confident the lower hanging fruit of the objective down low with the bouncing off that fair value gap. If we're going to remain bullish, I'm either going to be completely wrong, we're not going to remain bullish, or the top of that fair value gap where we hit yesterday was the line of demarcation for the downside until I would like to see us make at least one more all-time high before we pull back any, significant amount. The people that pushed it there, I doubt they're done. They may be done. If this one doesn't work out, I will probably be done for the day. Surely we can get a round number, huh? The 50 psych level, 22950. If we pop that high, we should get to 50. As far as the opening range rule, let's look at 15-minute chart for a second. Over here, we'll look at it. 15-minute chart. We still lack 10 minutes before it closes back within the opening range. And that would be the we'll push all the way through it rule. Time of day, we're at 11, London close is coming up in 30 minutes. I don't know. I sure would like to see this one moving away from this area faster. From that perspective, look at all those 15-minute candles, all those highs right there. That looks pretty inviting, pretty juicy. The 2300, we went up here and we left that one by a tick. I'm pretty sure that's a 4-hour high as well. There's one at 72, and there's one at 302. 23,002. So far, so good. But man, can things change in a hurry? So we just took this high right here, and we did not pull back immediately. And I like that. I like that we didn't pull back immediately. The breaker to the downside is right here. It could also be, and maybe it'd be a good place to take profit, because we could just bounce between these breakers for a while. But we'll see if it gets violated. At 18, maybe I should take 3 of them off at 18. And leave 2 running. We don't have a fair value gap after this breaker until right here. And we've already gone through it and inverted it. Right here. That's the first one after the breaker. And so that would be to the downside, and we've inverted it here. And that's nice. I like that. That gives me a little bit more confidence to hold, leave my stop where it is. We'll see how it reacts when it touches that. I would like to see a faster expansion for sure. This is another fair value gap, but it's a fair value gap to the upside. Typically, you don't want to see them hanging out. We want to see them touch and go. That's why I'm getting a little nervous about this trade. We did invert this, but we did not touch and go. We need to be leaving town. Leave town, you sorry devil. Let's go get through this breaker all the way. And offer higher. We took those wicks. Rapidly pull back. That's good. That's okay. We touched it. Now push. The bottom of that one is at 94. I'm going to move my stop to 94, 93. So at least if it decides to rip lower, I will not lose all of my profit. Because I would need that to be respected. This would be like an inversion fair value gap. And I would need it to be respected for more upside. So we're in a tight little range here. Still not leaving town. Still making me nervous. I could take it off right now and have an $8 day. Leave town, you dirty rat. Touch the top of that inversion fair value gap. Is that all we want? So if I'm focused on the process and not on the P&L, where would I consider this trade to be invalidated? I would think where my stop is would invalidate it. It looks like the stop's going to get hit. Like 90%. Offer higher, you dirty rat bastard. Oh, man. I went got raw on there. Man, that candle's jumping. I hope it jumps up and not down. We touch that to the tick now. I think we lose this one too, guys. We don't get the profit we were looking for. Here we go. Now, this trade still has not been invalidated, but the move that I wanted to see happen did not happen. We just took these out. This is a possibility. This center is a possibility. And we could rip higher from here. This one has definitely been traded through. We'll get rid of it. You know, something I did not do is mark out the first presentation fair value gap. And where would that be? I think it's this one right here. And that looks like just a tick. So I'm going to mark that one as our first prez. See how the price is interacting with it. Interesting. So now we've taken out this wick that's part of this fair value gap to the upside. Did we take it out? It's close. 84.75. 84.75. So I think we may have just ticked it right there. 84.75. 84.75. 84.75. That one looks like it got below it, but it didn't. So we got 3 equal lows. I bet those get ticked out. There we go. Man, if I was in the mind to take shorts, I think I could have made some money today. Just not in the mood to take shorts right now. There's a touch. Pretty much to the tick. Can we pull away? We've left the opening range to the downside again. I like this touch. Can we stop this bleed to the downside? I don't know if we're done, but I'm really tempted to try one here just because we touched that. But we're not pulling away. Usually when it touches, it pulls away like it did over here. So I think we may wick into settlement again. In which case we may come all the way down into here. So what is the market telling us? Is up what I think, or is up what the market is telling us? So far, the market is telling me I tried to push higher, I couldn't. I tried again, I couldn't. No, sellers are in control. The algorithm wants to offer lower today, so far. All right, there's settlement again. From a breaker perspective, if you're just going for 20 points, you'd have gotten it. I'm not sure where I entered. Yeah, it was around 84, so somewhere around here is where I entered. So yeah, I could have got 20 points off of that. All right, I like this. We came down to settlement. Candle bodies are respecting the halfway point of the breaker. Hmm. I know what I would like to see happen. I'd like to see it reverse. So a lot of times those macros, like there's a 1050 macro, which was this one, but pushed down. We took liquidity, and then all of this occurred during that same macro up to 1110. 1110 right there, higher low. So we should see this expansion start to happen. We finally broke above the round number. Please, for the love of God, go take that buy side liquidity. Show me the market's not broken. First press could be a bounce back down. I need to get out of the thought that we're going to go make a new all-time high. Maybe that's all we ever wanted, We just made that all-time high, and we're not going to do like all the other all-time highs where we could continue to make all-time highs during the week that happened. We're not going to expand. We're not going to make another one. We're done. We're done going up for the rest of the year. We're just going to offer lower. Well, we took round number. We pulled back. We didn't take it. We got close to it. We got to 96. We pulled back. But at least this little PD array looks bullish now. There's a little wick right there. I think we took it and then pulled back. Yeah, we did. We took it and pulled a little bit back. And we're pushing back up to it. Come on, 1050 macro, save the day. Go up, not down. 1 minute away. No, 2 minutes away. Do have another little fair value gap to the upside right here with a volume imbalance. That's nice. Yeah, trade back down in the volume imbalance. Now rip. Sometimes those are good places for entry. If you see a volume imbalance like that, it's just void, and you can jump in there and catch the move back up. They are the weakest of ICT's PD arrays, but I have seen price pull back to them like that many times. Come on, just keep on spooling. Keep on spooling. Let's look at the 15-minute chart for a minute. This one still got 10 minutes on this candle. But if we can close back inside of the opening range, it's highly likely we make it through the entire opening range. But I do like that. Oh, man. Sorry. I don't have my mute button. I need to get one of those mics that plug into the computer that has a mute button right on the mic. Because on this, I have to switch to another program and then click the mute. It's kind of a pain. All right, so there's my 20 points. If I was just, oh, that's 30 points. If I was just going for that, 25, I'd be out of this trade. I have contemplated, because even on the worst reversal pattern setups, whether it's going up or down or whatever, and there's a no 4-hour, just even on the very worst ones, once they validate, you can usually get 20 points. And so I've been thinking, well, what if we just went for 20 points? 20 points on 5, or 20 points on 1 is $40. So 5, that'd be $200. So right there, we would be at, or right where we were before it pulled back, we would have been at $200, 25 on 4. So what if we did just that and we killed it and we did it twice a day? That'd be $400 a day. That wouldn't be bad money. I've really considered doing that instead of trying for a full move to the top. Because you would, if you took $400 a day every day, you would get funded relatively quickly. And I mean, it would be consistent. Most of the time, I can only think of maybe now, other than rollover week was weird. But I even think during then you would get at least 10 points. And I was thinking, well, what if we did a mini with 10 points? But that's too much. But if we did like 5 micros with 10 points, that's $100. You do that twice a day, that's $200. That's a qualifying day. So you could even navigate rollover week with a really small take profit. I don't know. I know that I need to get more consistent. I know part of my issue is in little situations like what we're having now. Like say I would get nervous and I would kill the trade. And I would make 150, $200, maybe three, 400. Doesn't matter how much money it was. It didn't matter if it was $1,000. I would kill the trade, and then I would think, well, I'll try to get back in and make a little more, and then I would lose the money. And so my goal has been to keep the money. I really do feel like this has a chance to go to the top of the range here, and so I really want it. Well, I really want to hold it, but at the same time, I'm looking at it going, why haven't we already done it? I mean, there's a high right here on the 15-minute chart. Why didn't we take it while we were there? We just don't take any sell side liquidity anymore, any buy side liquidity anymore. I mean, on a 15-minute chart, there's one here, there's one here, one here, and one right there, relative equal highs. We don't take those anymore. The market quit taking highs. All we can hope for is a 20-point bump. We took these lows. I think these are equal too. Let's see, that one shows 41 even. This one shows 40.75. So yeah, this one's a nickel, a quarter lower. 4075. 41. So yeah, that one got left by a tick. About 25 cents. Just like this one did. So that makes it a big question mark. Are we going to go take those lows, or are we going to go take those highs? Are we ever going to offer to buy side again? Here's the first swing high buy side right there. I would like to see us take that and keep going. But we may take it and pull back. We may not take it at all. But I like the fact that we're getting up above round number again. That's a psychological level. If we can get above it and get up into the 20s, see, this one never made it to the 20s. You know, I might be a bit of a. I'm sitting here, first world problems here, I guess. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is so boring. But how many people are sitting at a desk job right now that they hate, and they have no possible way of escaping that environment. They're going to be stuck there until they retire. I know I can speak very directly about that because, teaching school, it's a great job, and I love the kids, and I love to teach too. But there are days that have to be endured, and if I could do this instead of that, and there are days that are very boring. Testing days, especially, can be very, very boring. All you're doing is just sitting there monitoring for 4 or 5 hours, and then after you're done monitoring, then they lock the whole school down where everybody just stays in that same classroom for another 2 or 3 hours. And then finally they'll let everybody go, and then it's last period or whatever. And a lot of times it's the same kids you were with all day. So it can be rather boring. And so I look at this and I'm like, oh, come on, I'm gonna price move. This is so dadgum boring. You really have to put that into perspective. Would you rather make money, a whole lot more money, being bored like this? Or would you rather make money being bored like that? Or you're just basically staring at a wall. When you're teaching in a classroom, it's not, to me, it wasn't boring. I loved it. I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy watching the kids get a concept that you've been working on them, trying to get it, and you can just see the light bulbs coming on, that they actually understand it to the point where they could tell somebody else, and, teach it to somebody else. It's really neat to see that happen. And that part isn't boring, but there are some parts that are. Testing days, especially, because you don't talk to them, you're just looking at what they've learned so far on a testing day. But it's pretty much just sitting there collecting papers. Or nowadays, it's all done on an iPad or a computer, and so you're just sitting there making sure they're on the right computer program. This first presentation fair value gap is a point of contention. I would like to see it inverted for this upside move to continue. Now, I've been in this trade a long time, and in these market conditions where a news bomb could hit at any second, it's scary to be in a trade this long. I do think it's going to work out in my favor, but I'm also like, I'm thinking time stop possibly. Should we consider just go ahead and getting out of this just for the sake of time, just because of the length of time we've been in it? Let's go back to a 1-minute chart for a minute. So we pushed into this first presentation fair value gap, and we don't want to go through it for some reason. We just don't want to get back up into those 20s. If a person was of a mind to take a short, it might be a place to do it, but I'm not of that mind. We're so close to this 15-minute high right there. I think we pop it at least, and that would get us through the first pres. Maybe we invert it and continue up. Just poke the middle again. The market is definitely doing the whole, I'm going to take the stairs up and the elevator down thing. I mean, over here, it's almost elevatorish on the way up. But man, it didn't even give you an opportunity to enter here. ICT would call that the market generating liquidity. Okay, so they got everybody on the hook thinking we're going to the freaking moon. People buying, 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 buying. Let's take all that money. Take out the stops. Anybody that got long in that move. And now maybe we can trickle back up and take out the stops for anybody that got short in this move. Well, we are respecting this first prez. I just sent you a text, Adam. I assume you're the one that's remaining watching. But we are respecting it so far. We don't want, we still don't want any buy side liquidity here. Just has no interest in buy side liquidity. I'm not buying it. I think we want that buy side. This was the breaker here. So it is a point of contention. We could touch that and rip lower. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna cuss at NASDAQ again. Come on, you dirty rat fake. Do something good here. I think it's funny how I'm a big believer in the kind of a conspiracy theory that the market is moved with an algorithm. And it has nothing to do with the news or with any of that stuff. When a news story hits, they use it to manipulate price. Why? Why would you do that? Must be a news story hitting. They use it to manipulate price. And then afterwards, they try to explain why the market fell out of bed and then went straight back up. There was one news story I saw this morning that it made me laugh. I think it might be kind of fun to write those news headlines, assuming that you believe that it's all manipulated. The news story is only there to move price where market makers want it so they can get in, and also to rip all the stops from the retail traders. Because they're taking our money. They're taking the people that don't know what they're doing. They're taking their money. That's what they're doing with these news stories. And now that we've got the tariff, Trump could fart in the Oval Office and the market drops 100 points, they're really using that. I really do believe that's what's going on. But this little pullback kind of got me scared. I was going to show you one of those news stories, but it had something to do with the tariffs. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Brent crude, natural gas. That's the bill auction. It was pretty early this morning. That was at 9:45. That's probably one of the drops we saw. I don't know if I'm going to find it, but it was essentially talking about how the market fell because of the tariff talks, but then went back up because investors decided they weren't that bad. That's basically what the headline said. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a joke. They're just trying to explain what happened to make it seem like we're not getting ripped off. Maybe this is it. Rose as early concerns about the Trump administration's latest tariff pronouncements were replaced by hope that there is plenty of room for additional negotiations. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for right there. The S&P futures remain stable while Trump buys time. They rose as early concerns. Yesterday they fell. Now, oh, well, you know what? Maybe this tariff news isn't so bad. And then it went back up. That's their way of explaining what happened. That's horseshit. I do like this move. Come on, let's be hopeful about these tariffs. I think everything's going to be okay. We made it to 20. Can we keep going? This is a point of contention because that was our reversal point earlier. So this could be a let's fall to the floor situation. I'm going to be watching this real close. Can we invert that first press? I'm going to keep my finger over here on this X button because I don't want to lose all this profit I just made. There we go. Can we make a new high? This candle wick, I want to see it get above the halfway point of that candle wick. If we can do that, then I'm going to have a lot more confidence that we're going higher. like that candle body right there, how it opened above it. But we still, I mean, that's a breaker. That's a bearish breaker for sure. It's not at a higher time frame, but it is a bearish breaker. So we have to look at it as a potential reversal point. If it violates that breaker, I might add some more for that final push. There. Nope. At least we finally took some sell side. I mean buy side rather. Now can we get up here? That is such a clean, straight line. Why in the world would we not get up there? Opening range high is actually right there. We left it by a tick. Convince me you're not broken, NASDAQ. That pullback there was right at the top of the first press. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Blow through this breaker. That's a big breaker. It can go through, I think it's over 20 points. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, it's a short one. It's only 9 points. It'd only have to get to 28 to violate that breaker. Maybe adding one more micro for a push through from say 28. All right, we got above it with a candle body. We opened above the 50% mark. Now I want to see this halfway point respected. Don't want to go back all the way back down there. There is a volume imbalance down there, so it might go back down there. Right here, volume imbalance. That would be okay. We did close above the 50% mark, so I like the more upside potential here. Making me sweat. I don't sweat at all if I'm looking for a news story. Don't even think about it. But look at that right here. I'm like, I should take this off. Okay, this is ridiculous. I should take it off. We've respected a bearish breaker. We're still respecting this. How about we do that? There, 907. If we drop below there, I'm taking my profit. That's the bottom of this fair value gap, first press. Volume imbalance to the downside right here. If we wick into it and pull back, look out. If we wick into it and keep going, I'll be more confident in this position. Oh, I like it. I like it. Let's go. Uh, yeah, I like it. I like it. Close your bulb and keep going, you dirty rat. Man, I sure have been in this trade a long time. Trump farted in the Oval Office and sent White House staff scrambling for air freshener. All right, now this bib can move. Kind of weird that wick and that breaker are about the same distance. Now we got to get above the halfway point of this breaker with candle bodies, and it'll be even more upside. Look at that wick right there. That's a 15-minute candle wick just above this breaker. Volume imbalance here. Probably get wicked into. I'd like to see it left open. Probably going to get wicked into. Maybe if you're not involved in the long, that'd be a good place to put an order. You know what? Maybe it'd be a good place to add. 19 even. I'm going to add one more. Oh, too late. Maybe not. I think I missed it. Halfway point of that wick. 1875. There we go. Maybe we can get that one in. There we go. We got one more soldier working for me or working against me, depending on where we go from here. Yes, sir. Go, you dirty rat fake. Oh, man. Now we're starting to do some serious spooling. What if we did something like this and we took off maybe 3 here? And tried for 23,000. That's our next 4-hour high. Oh, this is beautiful. Maybe the lower hanging fruit objective would be right here, since we've ranged in every other market. 43. I just like those highs. I really like those highs. But we maybe don't take them right away. Maybe we should just take it here, the 3, and leave the 2 on running. That's so inviting. I think it's just going to pop them. I'll just watch it real close. Go, baby, go. Keep going. Don't slow down. Don't even slow down. Don't even slow down. Don't pull back. Rip. I know you want those highs. I know you do. I'm going to do something. Let me have this bib. I'll just use it. There we go. And then add 25%. Right there is at 58. And this is at 57. I like it. I like the possibility of it. And I like this 4-hour high right here. The question is, will it go there before falling back a ton? Get your butt up there to those relative equals over 15. You know, I didn't even look at the 4-hour. It might be 4 hours now. We got quite a few fair value gaps here. 920. Woo! Get up there. Get me some money. Yes, sir. Now keep your butt going. Let's see where we are on this fair value gap business. I'm going to put it just below this fair value gap right here. And hopefully we can reach for that next set of, I expect it to come back down to the high of the opening range. But I'm hoping we can reach up there to the psych level at 23 even. Well, I am really glad to see that the market isn't broken, that it still does what it's been doing for years as far as taking buy side and sell side. So opening range high is right here. We've accomplished the 25% extension of the opening range. Do we bounce off the opening range and continue higher, or do we pull back to the middle of the opening range, first presentation, fair value gap, all that business? In which case, we would get stopped out. Preference is we pull back to that green line, possibly even wick into this fair value gap and continue higher. I'll just move this guy up there. It's interesting. That fair value gap and this one were the exact same size. That's it. You telling me I did a computer? I just moved the box. That's all I did. I didn't adjust the size of it at all. And it even includes the volume imbalance. Adam, have you ever had to give yourself shots? I had to start testosterone therapy, which involves giving myself a shot. Oh, opening range high, fair value gap respected so far. Talk about a stress-free trade. I mean, it didn't go there as fast as I would have liked for it to go, but I wasn't stressed out about it at all because I wasn't over leveraged, and it was just one of those it's either going to work out or it's not situations. And man, it worked out great. I love it when it happens like that. I did get smacked on one of them, got myself in the hole, but that's part of trading. You're not going to win every single one. I'm just glad my hypo panned out. And this will be a nice profitable day. Won't get me funded, but that's another one of my goals. Focus on the process, not on your P&L. And the process isn't going to do you wrong. The reason I asked about the injection thing is because I am actively involved in loading my syringe with testosterone. And I'm about to poke myself in the leg while the rest of this position works itself out. Multitasking. You're probably still young enough where you don't have to worry about that, but I just noticed myself getting weaker and weaker, and I've always been a very strong person. Oh my goodness, that got me. Uh-oh, Trump must have said something. He farted in the Oval Office again. This time there was no air freshener present. Let's see what happened. Oh, here we go. Oh, that was at 11:31. Is that Central Time? Yes, corresponds perfectly. Trump reiterates that BRICS 10% threat. Anybody in BRICS is getting 10% charge pretty soon. I'd say buy this dip. We're going higher. If we can get an order right here in the first presentation fair value gap, that would be pretty sweet to the upside. But maybe not. We've already taken opening range high. News bombs. Any freaking second can happen. So my goal this week, once I get my profit, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to wait until another setup comes tomorrow. And because of that, I got to stick to my plan. There may be another setup today. There usually is 2 a day. I just don't know if I want to risk my profit. I think I would rather stick to my plan and not risk my profit. Because if we get another setup like this tomorrow, I mean, that would just be beautiful. We get another pile of cash. I've told myself over and over again, I make money like this every single day. And all I have to do in order to be profitable is stop. That's it. That's all I have to do. Pretty easy. Just freaking stop. You don't have to do 2 trades a day. You can just do 1 profitable trade a day. You're not going to go broke taking profit, but you definitely will go broke taking losses. Wow, this is quite a drop. All the way to the opening range low again. Are we going all the way back to settlement? See, if I would have taken a trade off of that, trying to get more upside, man, oh kind. All the way back to the opening range low. Opening range is just so small, it's easy to reverse that sucker. We going all the way back to settlement? I mean, it didn't really. This is the breaker right there on that thing. If a person was short-minded, we have ranged in every session we've ranged. So ranging in this session, why not? I'm just not, the last down close before the run on liquidity is this one right here. That's a pretty sweet run. It didn't make me sweat too much at all. The downside to trading 4 micros, right, ended up with 5 at the end. And I did leave a little, I had more money than that. Because my stop was at 39 right here. So I did leave a little on the table. Goodness, I left a lot. 20 points. That may have been a little bit too much room. But when breakers fail, more upside potential. And this breaker just failed. I don't know. I think I'm done with it today. Trump might say something else. Might go all the way and fill that fair value gap down there on the bottom. being awfully quiet because I'm trying to give myself this shot. Sometimes the medicine doesn't want to go in. I will say testosterone therapy, if you're over the age of 50, you should have your testosterone checked. But it does help you to regain muscle. A lot of people that do like bodybuilding and stuff like that, taking anabolic steroids is frowned upon, although some still do that. But testosterone shots are not considered to be an illegal substance. And so a lot of them will take additional testosterone to help their muscles build faster. So if you're aging and you're noticing that your muscles are atrophying and things like that, I would it can cause all sorts of issues, but I was noticing my muscles. I was just weak, really, really weak, and also tired, fatigued all the time. So I went and talked to my doctor and had it checked, and sure enough, I was nearly a girl. I don't know if it was that bad, but I didn't have much testosterone in my system at all. And so I started taking injections, and they say it'll make you feel like a teenager again. I don't know if I could say that, but I definitely feel better. This is one of those situations where we try to validate a breaker and we didn't. We may continue to range in this area, or we could offer higher. And like I said, I, on a normal day, would be getting in a long right here. I'll just say that. But that's because I would be trying to get more money. But to me, time of day, we've entered ambiguous territory. We've fallen out of bed on a news story. Too risky. I really, really, really want to get funded again, and I want to develop good habits so when I do get funded, I don't blow up the daggum thing. And if taking multiple trades a day increases your probability of loss, it, trading more doesn't really make you win more. Every time you click the mouse, you have the potential to lose whatever your stop loss is. So the fewer times you click the you click the mouse, the fewer opportunities you have to lose. And any one could be a loss. But this one worked out well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream there. I'm happy with the profit I've made. I'm going to go ahead and lock my account. So let y'all see it happen. So, I'm not just saying that and then jumping in here after I get off the stream and blowing it up. Um, Sitting at 50,935. A couple more days like this, might be funded again. I don't know if I'm going to live stream a lot. I felt like doing it today, but a lot of times I don't feel like doing it, or I don't feel like I can concentrate well enough when I'm doing the live stream. And it's going to depend on my mental state. I want to show y'all what I'm looking at, what I've been doing, but yesterday the market actually behaved pretty well, even though it was a really choppy day. It did make breakers and respect them. It went to the levels where I expected it to go, so that's good. And today it's done it again, so we may be getting back to normal. After the whole rollover situation, we may be getting back to normal. The news bombs, they're going to keep coming. That's why I was worried about this position, was because of that little. That's just a money stealing thing from the market makers. They've got the algorithm tuned to when Trump says something, whether it's good or bad, to pull back, or to if we're going down, to run back up. Let's see how big that pullback was. From the top of there all the way to here. 75 points. Most retail traders keep a 25-point stop loss. Some will have a little bit higher stop loss. But if you're not trailing in that situation, you're going to lose all your profit. That went all the way back to my entry. And that's very, very common right now. So that's why I was so nervous being in that trade as long as I was, because I was expecting that to come out at any second. And it does it almost every day. You just got to be careful. Lock in some profit. If you end up losing, all the money you just made, worst things can happen. At least you have a little bit of profit. All righty, that's it for me, folks. Possibly see you tomorrow. I may just stick to showing the trade setups after the day is closed rather than leaving the live stream up. I've just noticed, because I'm subscribed to my channel through my own personal channel. I have 2 channels, and when I do the live streams, it just gives a notification all the time. Oh, new video from itradefutures, and it gets kind of annoying to have that pop up every single day. So I don't know. If y'all think the live streams are beneficial to you, just put something in the comments once this thing gets posted that you would like for me to keep doing them, and maybe I'll keep doing them. But I don't know. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. Adam, I know you're still watching. If you want to chat or whatever, you can text me. I'm going to go ahead and click this and end the stream.